We have another betting scandal.
Oh, boy.
Seems like, we said it when the first one popped up. It's not going to be the last. And a lot of the things that we say and we repeat, we're not saying it because we're lazy. We're saying it because it's probably never going to change our stance on the majority of these things.
Correct.
So we had 2 Guardians players. Apparently, they're rigging pitches. Clase or Clase, he's Hispanic. Clase. And Ortiz from the Guardians. They are 2 pitchers, Luis Ortiz, to be specific, and Emmanuel Clase, indicted in connection to sports gambling scheme. The money amount, I got to be honest with you, bro. It's hilarious.
Oh, I know. So do you want to start with the smallest one? Because this was the one that was the tester amount. Because it increased after they were getting paid $5,000 for this information and knowledge on the bets. They were getting paid $5,000. If I'm correct, based on the veterans minimum of any contract in the MLB, you're probably making that per game. Without a doubt. So 5G should never sway anybody. But that's what they were getting at first.
Before you get into it, really, we joke around on the show, but I'm being very serious when I say this. We have to always remember a lot of these guys are fucking idiots. Because to your point, it's like with Terry Rozier. It's like Calvin Ridley. Bro, you've made $161 million if you're Terry Rozier. Why are you risking that for this? And I'm someone that says money won is twice as sweet as money earned. If I was paying you $500 a month, but then you win 500, you're like, oh shit.
It's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling, right? It's a different sensation in the man region. Pause. But these guys for $5K, bro, it's crazy to me. And that's why I say, like, bro, the upside, it's not worth it. It's fully guaranteed money that you can make. If you're like, bro, if you just hit 98 on the radar, you're probably going to have a 10-year career. Like, they'll find a way to use you. All right, listen, you're not a starter, but, come in the 7th inning and get us these 3 outs on 2 lefties and shit. Like, there's, situational pitching and all that. I know I went off on a tangent, but it's really important to remember that these guys are really fucking dumb to be doing this because it's way too much money that you're making guaranteed for $5,000 bribes for throwing rigged pitches, arranging rigged pitches. And it's just crazy to me.
The number one live bet that I feel would garner the most attention would be the pitch by pitch betting, in which I've never done. Have you ever done pitch by pitch betting?
Dude, I bet baseball maybe in the playoffs in like certain spots. Like, I bet the Yankees when they lost, I think the first 2, and then they came back to the Bronx when they played the Blue Jays.
Yep.
And it was like, bro, it's a tough place to play. Like, this is a good spot. I bet that. That was the only bet I made in baseball this year. So basically, I went perfect in baseball. One bet. Right? Good
1 for 1.
But I was talking to, shout out to Mahul, man. He's a Patreon member. He's pledged for the year to us. He's in the Discord too. And, different sport, but he does these same game parlays in the NBA. And from all my friends that bet NBA, I think it's the most frustrating across the board. Because like even tonight, at the time of recording, the Pistons, Cade and Ivy were questionable. Then they were going to sit. Then they got ruled active. Then they got ruled out. And like the line was, from a 3-point favorite that went to a 3-point dog, then to a pick 'em, then back to a dog. And then Giddey got ruled out like last minute. And it's so frustrating because, you do some research for these props, and then before you know it, Durant's going to sit because it's Washington on a Tuesday. And you're like, fuck, yo, I thought this was a good spot for him. Now am I looking at Thompson to maybe pick up the workload, right, or Sengun? And it's just like really, really frustrating, right? So to answer your question, I don't really bet. I don't really bet baseball. I think on a day-to-day basis, that's crazy. It's too volatile. Teams could lose 5 games in a row, and it's like, all right, you lose 5 games in a row in the NFL, you're fired probably.
Correct.
Right? Like, look at Dayball. Got canned after 4 losses in a row.
And yeah, and so this is just getting to the point though of it's such a niche bet in baseball that when you get a high volume amount, which we've referred to multiple times on the show, look at how these people are getting caught. And especially in the prop industry, you're hitting your max limit of that bet because you're trying to maximize your profit. Now, we had stated that they got $5,000 each. The date was June 15th, 2025. Then June 27th, so about a week and a half later, they got a $7,000 bribe. And that is the time in which Class A withdrew $50,000 in cash and provided $15,000 of it to the co-conspirator to then go make buku bets. Because June 15th was the tester. Okay, they didn't notice. June 27th, let me go unload on the bank account. 15 grand will go to the co-conspirator, and they were able to run it up to roughly $400,000 in winnings off of betting specific pitches, whether it would be a ball or a strike, or even the miles per hour that the pitch was being thrown. Sportsbooks, why are you allowing this? First off, like, I get the balls and strikes, but the miles per hour thing is crazy. And even at the balls and strikes thing, the MLB, I guess, has now implemented a rule with all books in which the wager amount can only be $2,000 for any specific pitch, which is still crazy amount.
For sure. And we also suggested this with the Terry Rozier shit. Like, one was don't allow unders, because this is going to sound shitty. I don't mind it if you bet your overs. Let me rephrase that. I'll give you more of a pass if they were like, yo, bro, this player got arrested for betting, and you're like, yo, what do you bet on? His overs. I'd be like, in theory, he wants to play better so his team could win.
Correct.
I don't agree, but I understand. If you tell me, yo, this player's betting his unders and he's 1 for 13 from 3, 7 nights in a row, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not with that. It was the Pete Rose thing, right?
Correct.
Pete Rose was betting on baseball, but he was betting on his team to win. Is that bad? If you're betting on your team to win, you're not really, because it's like a double whammy in the sense of the pain you're going to suffer, because you'll be like, fuck, we lost the game and I lost money. We talk about this with fighters, right? Fighters, because, and boxing in particular, like Ryan Garcia had bet $2 million on him to beat Haney, and he ended up winning. He ended up cashing his bet. However, it got overturned to a no contest, but the sportsbook's not going to see that money get refunded by him.
Right.
But there's no real commission in boxing. You're allowed to. It's not considered a team sport, so it's different rules and regulations. In the UFC, you can't do that anymore, even if it's in your favor to win. So we suggested this with like, yo, don't let people bet on unders. And like, yo, listen, if you're not playing 30 minutes a game, you're a Jonte Porter, you're a 2-way 10-day contract guy. Like, nah, bro, you can't take your Jalen Hyatt. You can't bet his receiving prop.
Right.
That's one way to regulate it a little bit.
For sure. And in this case specifically, Nick, and this is the thing that I was trying to put myself in the lawyer's shoes of the people trying to defend Class A and Ortiz in this situation. It's defendable. Balls and strikes in how you're throwing pitches and what bets were made, I feel like they might have a chance to get an out on this. You know, if they have a really good lawyer and they were able to distance themselves on certain money aspects and why it was given to the co-conspirator, I don't know. This one, there's a more of a gray area than I feel other sports betting scandals that we've brought up on the show so far. So this one, interesting to me. If the lawyer doesn't do his job, they're going to be hit with 20 years behind bars minimum.
Yeah.
Rough move.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like, yo, listen, bro, you're making way too much money potentially to be like trying to play with this shit.
Yeah.
It ain't worth it. And I remember, bro, I gotta dig in the archives, but I know the fans of VM, the day one people, thank you all so much for supporting all these years. I've talked about this from the beginning. I was never worried about Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Steph Curry, LeBron James getting caught in scandals like this. You had to worry of the Jonte Porters of the world. The Austin Reeves before he got the big money, right? Like the Mac McClungs of the world. The dude that plays at Rutgers, or even though they had 2 first-round picks, but like the Hofstra University against Stony Brook. Those are the guys where you could go and be like, hey, man, listen, you're definitely not going to the league. Here's $50K and lose by 8 as opposed to losing by 7. You know, like by that, the old Arizona
Tougher
State.
to control.
Yeah.
Balls and strikes is so fucking easy, bro. God.
Yeah.
That's why this one, it's so unique because you can start pinpointing a lot of other pitchers and stuff. Because the most obvious pitches, you never want to go down 1-0 in the count as a pitcher. You're always trying to go 0-1.
Yeah.
Go look at every ball that was thrown on the very first pitch of an at-bat. If you see a trend, hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Hit up Cash Patel.
Yeah. Definitely. But you know, the last thing I'll say about this, it's just funny. Like now it's gotten to a point, bro, that again, this is going to sound like a broken record. We're going to have one of these every month. Because I feel like we do have one of these every month. Shit, we've had 2 in the last 3 weeks. Yeah. Right? So this is not going to change. It's going to continue. ESPN Bet actually cut ties. They kind of sold the rights to another sports book. They're becoming the Score Bet.
Yeah, bro. They saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, they saw it. They're like,
ESPN's kind of getting dragged right now. They had a big rebrand at the beginning of the year. Oh, we're going to bring back sports. We're the heartbeat of sports. Then they start doing this whole streaming shit, and then they revoke their ESPN betting thing, which it's like, come on, bro. If you got nuts, you stay in the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so basically for those of you guys that don't know, if you're following this story, they abruptly shut down its $150 million sportsbook deal just a couple of weeks after the NBA betting scandal. After 2 years in business, ESPN is pulling the plug on their partnership with Penn Entertainment. This was funny when I read it. They agreed to mutually depart. Which is always, it's like when someone wants to get fired, but they're like, hey, man, just step down. Say you step down so that we don't embarrass you publicly.
You just got to step down really quick because they're going to give me shit if I didn't fire you. So they were just going to go mutual with this one.
Yeah. And now DraftKings ESPN is going to align with DraftKings, which was also hysterical because there'd be like ESPN Bet promos, and then you'd be watching, and I know it's a different entity, but it would just be funny. Like they would do the Monday Night Football parlay would be ESPN Bet, and then you go to Red Zone and it's like sponsored by DraftKings, and then you're watching like Amazon Prime and it's brought to you by FanDuel. You're like, bro, where am I going first?
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, listen, this is not going to stop, man. This is going to continue to happen. Hopefully we could be your source to explain this stuff to you, because look, bro, it's not going to end. It's not going to end. And also, like, I love the space. I think we've carved out a nice lane for us where we're $25, $50 to $100 bettors, big in the futures market. We're never going to be asking for loose change underneath a Subway, right? It's all fun. And we've wanted to, that's why we call it the best sports betting vibe. We troll each other when we make mistakes. We pat ourselves in the back coming off an 8-2 week. Thank you very much. Up $1,200 on the year when it comes to anytime touchdown. Took a little bit of a hit last week. You know, it was 1,900 last week. It's a little bit of a hit, but we got to keep it honest with the fan base. You know, we got to keep it honest with the fan base. Yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know in the comments what you think.